What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers Advice. Definitely in a much better mood today. All right, because I watched the film. All right, and I was like, okay, there are some positives. Now today's video, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not gonna be positive from the start, hearing about the injuries to the end, seeing what went wrong. All right, in that fourth quarter drive when they got the onside kick. But after today, there's going to be a lot of positive stuff, right? This young core, I think, has a ton of potential. I compared it to week one versus week two. Did they actually improve, or were the Cardinals worse than the Jacks? You're going to see improvement across the board. We're going to talk about Tetaroa. We're going to talk about the linebackers. We're going to talk about the DBs. We're going to talk about all that. A lot of fun stuff planned this week, but today's video is not that, man. Let's get into this thing.
Yes. Robert Hunt has a torn biceps, and he's going to be going on IR. We're going to leave the window open for him to be able to return, but it's going to require surgery, so he'll be out for a while. Austin Corbett had an MCL at the end of the game. He'll also go to IR.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not good at all. Robert Hunt goes out. You saw what happened to Chandler. We're going to break that down in the film too. But him going to the IR with a torn bicep, you're pushing. I mean, IR, you have to be out for at least 4 weeks. So won't be back for at least 5, 6. It could be 8 weeks. And honestly, it depends on how the season goes, right? We're on week 2 now. If he doesn't come back for 8 weeks, that's pushing what, week 10, week 11. You know, we'll see what happens when we get there, but it's not a good look. We're already struggling to run it against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cardinals. I gotta say, I think the teams only get tougher from here on out, to be honest with you, right? There's a couple in there, but for the most part, they're only going to get tougher, okay? But to have 2 guys go on IR to start the season in week 2, it's kind of just like last year, right? Where you had injuries right away. Shaq, Derek Brown was what, week 2 as well, I think. So this definitely isn't good. And for Bryce Young, who was going to have to throw it even more than he has now, he's probably got one of the highest attempts in the NFL. And now he's going to have to throw it even more. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they develop this playbook. Let's keep it going. We have a few more things to talk about real quick before we jump into the film.
Their leadership, their positivity, their hard work, all those things. We're certainly going to miss those guys being out there. They'll be around us, and I kind of hit them right afterwards and just be like, hey, we're going to need you. We're going to need all of you to just be around here and continue to, to encourage the guys. And so Cade Mays will be at center, and then Chandler Zavala will come in and play guard for us.
Now, Cade Mays at center may not be a bad thing, to be honest with you. For whatever reason, Corbett, against the blitz, against the stunts, even just a 4-man pressure, he was struggling bad. The offensive line as a whole was struggling bad. So Cade Mays coming in might be beneficial to an extent as far as communication across the offensive line. Chandler didn't look great, but I can't put too much stock into something where he comes in what, the third, fourth quarter and has a few plays against the Cardinals who are already kicking the Panthers' butt, to be honest with you. So I don't put too much stock into that. But Cade Mays at center, we might see an improvement in either the run block or pass block. Let's go back to the video real quick.
I just wonder if, in the same way that when you sat Bryce down after 2 games last year to let him reset, if that could be an option for Xavier, or if not.
When I heard this question asked, I was like, now I'm not saying I don't agree with it to some extent, but I was shocked. This question was asked until I realized who it was asked by, and he wasn't the only one who brought up Leggett. There was a couple other people.
Where and how you think he's going to improve?
I believe in Xavier. This is a guy that I truly believe, because of the way he's wired, the way that he works at it, the way that he continues to train. He had a great week of practice. He played better. He had some opportunities on the field where the ball didn't go his way. I tried to get him a few early touches.
So let's talk about this real quick. So first thing is we're going to know pretty quickly if Dave is full of crap. And what I mean by that is it's week 2 trade deadline. Unless it was moved, it's week 8, right? So if Leggett moves, all right, in the next 6 weeks, we're going to realize Dave is full of crap. And this whole calm persona thing, right, is almost a fad. But if Leggett doesn't move and Dave continues to believe in him, then Dave is really that kind of calm, kind of yoga kind of guy. Now, let me rewind it real quick right here.
On the field where the ball didn't go his way. I try to get him a few early touches.
Now, that's something I've been saying since before preseason. I've been saying since training camp. With Excel, half of it, not even probably half to be honest with you, 70% is a mental thing with him, right? So you got to get him the ball early. The problem is, it's like a double edged sword, right? And the reason I say that is you want to get him the ball early, right? You want to get him to relax. But at the same time, it's almost just as much pressure, right? Because he knows that play call is for him. Like Dave just said just now, right? I want to get him the ball a few times early. It almost builds so much pressure. And here's the problem, right? This is almost like a triple, quadruple edged sword. Because there's so many different ways to look at this that could go sour. Let's say Excel fails on those. So the plays that were designed for him, as long as Excel has some type of heart, right, he's going to care if he doesn't succeed. And I think he does. I think Excel is bothered when he doesn't make a play, when he doesn't get yards. I honestly believe that, right? So when you think about everything, right, you put everything together, you're forcing the ball to him, which creates a lot of pressure. Then if he doesn't get yards, it's even more pressure on him. Then if he doesn't catch it, right, if he doesn't catch or doesn't make a play with the ball that was designed for him, he goes over 3 in all 3 design plays. What's that going to do to him the rest of the game? Right? So if you start off feeding him early, that's great. You know, that's what I said to do in training camp, but I didn't think about everything. If he doesn't succeed early, right, I don't know that you have Excel at 100%, if I'm being honest with you, because Dave knows it's a mental thing. Excel came out and said it's a mental thing. So I like what Dave is doing. I just don't know if that's the right way. And you're like, okay, so what's the right way? And I'm going to be honest, I don't know, right? Because if you haven't progressed through the reads, we go back to what we saw last year. To me, just let this dude fly. Let him learn how to do these deep catches. Let Bryce Young air it out. Put him and T-Mac next to each other. Have T-Mac run the post, right? A dagger concept or a hitch. T-Mac stays underneath. Let Leggett fly and just throw it until he learns it. Because if you get those two going, those two cooking, then the Panthers offense will get clicking. That's my thing, right? You throw underneath, bang, he's going to get hit by a linebacker. I don't know that he's going to catch it. Out route, kind of the same thing with the DB playing that. Let him fly. Just let him fly. Let him figure it out. Let's get back to the video.
Is there anything you think could have been done different in that last sequence of downs? I mean,
You know, of course, I've watched it now 3 times and just kind of looking at, what could I have called here? What could I have called there when they did this coverage? And I'm standing in the back kind of trying to evaluate the coverages live and get us to the best, possible plays there. And I'll be rethinking that drive, at least for today a couple more times. But, I think, execution all across the board, calling the right plays for the group, the protect.
Calling the right plays is a big one, which we're going to go over in a second.
Making the plays that we had so we can matriculate the ball down there. I thought I was a little bit aggressive on some of those.
So as we jump to the film room, talking about the overtime drive, there's a lot of things that went wrong, right? So first play right here, the read's not bad. This is probably an option route. If the DB comes up, Tedero might take it deep, to be honest with you, but he's playing 10 yards off, so it makes sense to do a 5-yard hitch, right? Which is what you're going to see right here. Bang. Couple things kind of wrong here. One, Tedero really doesn't sell this route at all, right? Take a look right here. So you're going to see right here, ball snapped. Look at the DB. He's ready to break, right? He's either ready to backpedal or he's ready to break. Because Tedero never sells the route, watch the DB right here. Let's open up that circle a little bit. Take a look right here. His first step is breaking towards that ball. If Tedero comes out that gate a little bit more, comes out a little bit more just selling that route, that's probably money, to be honest with you. But because he doesn't sell it, that DB, look at that. His first step, look right there. Bryce hasn't even got it out yet. The DB's playing it. Again, the route's probably an option route. DB's playing 10 yards off. But Tedero never sells it, right? So we got to sell it more. Overall, good play call, though. Let's take a look at the next one. And as we jump to play number 2 right here, once again, a little frustrated because they run empty. You were down by 2 or 3 possessions. Why are you trying to force it deep right here? And Leggett, man, he's going to run a hell of a route. And unfortunately, the ball's going to get swatted. I'm drawing a blank on the name that this route's called, but XL does it. I want to say it's a stick nod right here. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But you're going to see XL. What he's trying to do is essentially sail to the outside, bang, all right, get the DB to bite over here, and then beat him over the top. And he actually does that. It would have been nice to see, all right, if Bryce Young could have connected with them. Would have been a tough throw. I don't know that you go over the top based on, I think that's Buddha's position right there. It would have been tough. I would love to have seen this throw. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it, though. And the next play we're going to look at right here, it's 3rd and 5. And you could probably throw the flag here on that DB. I'm not going to lie to you, but what I want to talk about is this right here. So we can sit here and blame Bryce Young. We can blame Leggett. But Dave Canales in the play calling, he's got to get a grip on reality right here. 1st down. All right, let's see what was 1st down right here. And there were so many flags that might not have even been the same drive. But 1st down, empty. 2nd down right here, empty again. 3rd and 5, empty. And the reason I'm frustrated by this, it's not like I'm angry anymore, but the reason I'm frustrated is you go empty. That's a new look for Bryce Young. And what I mean by that is the defense is going to give you a new look that you haven't seen. So Bryce Young just came back from down 3 possessions. Now, yes, the Cardinals kind of played off a little bit. Nonetheless, he came back. Now you're going empty. Now the defense is going to be in a new look. Now Bryce Young has to kind of guess and check right here. All right, what's the defense in? I haven't seen this before yet. Because that whole spacing is going to be different when you've got 5 wideouts. So while, yes, Dave was being aggressive, he also put Bryce in a terrible situation because he didn't go empty all game, unless he did once or twice, all right, and I missed that. But nonetheless, defense is giving you a new look. You don't know what this DB is going to do on that left side. You don't know what this DB is going to do on the right side. You know if it's going to be an invert. I mean, you don't know. But even after all that complaining I did, all right, Panthers, they get a new 1st down. Dave's like, okay, let me chill real quick. Let me dump Chuba off. And now this one's on Bryce Young because Chuba, he had yards to run. This team, from play calling to quarterback play to the blocking to receivers, some of them, not all of them, all right, it's inconsistent. The running game, inconsistent. There's so much blame to go around, all right, because Bryce Young right here, dump it off to Chuba. The nearest DB, I mean, that's got to be, what, 15, give or take? 10, 12 yards away right here. Dump it off to Chuba. Let him get a 1st down. But no, Bryce Young doesn't. All right, now it's 2nd and 20. I think that was the intentional grounding. If I'm not mistaken, there were so many calls. Maybe it was a holding. I don't remember. But it's 2nd and 20 right here. Bryce Young's dropping back. Let's talk about it real quick. What I noticed about Bryce Young on this play is take a look right here. He's going to try and look off the safety. He wants the safety to go over here, all right, towards T-Mac. Let the play develop a little bit. He's hoping that works. That way, Hunter Renfrow, bada bing, bada boom. The problem is going to be this right here. Look where T-Mac is going to end up. There's no way that was the right play call. So like I said, man, there's blame to go around everywhere. To me, if Cardinals are giving you a cover 4 look, why are we not running a deep out, or why are we not just putting this thing on a go, to be honest? Because if you're going to have Renfrow on that post right there underneath, have T-Mac take these 2 with you. Bada bing, bada boom. This is open space by a mile. Take a look right here. Something went wrong. There's no way we're running a post route with a deep end right next to it. It doesn't make any sense. Somebody messed up right here. This play had potential, right? Somebody messed up. I think I know who did it, but as much as that person did to get the Panthers in the game to even have a shot, I'm not going to say anything. But there's no way this was the play. All right, but if T-Mac, if he gets them both to go right here, bada bing, bada boom, this is money. Now, that being said, Bryce Young also stares at Hunter Renfrow the whole time. And watch the safety break on this thing. Right, because Bryce Young is just staring at him. You see what happened? 3rd and 15 right here. Let's take a look. What happens? Bryce Young's dropping back. Tries to hit Bryson. Bryson had a pretty good game right here, man. Again, Cardinals essentially just playing the sticks. Cover 4 look. Bryson, whoo, he sunk those hips low. Bryce Young took a hitch. He's got to get that ball out just a little bit quicker. Take a look. He takes the hitch. He's not sure. That's just chemistry right there. Take a look right here. Bryson with a hell of a route right. Woo! He did that boy dirty. The Panthers might have something here. Because when I saw Bryson in training camp, you saw it was just more of a big body kind of guy. But the route he ran right here, oh my. Bryce Young's got to throw that quicker. He just doesn't have a lot of reps with him. He's got to trust that Bryson's going to be at that spot. That ball's got to be coming out now. Bryce Young's throwing it now. The separation's gone. Right? Still not a bad throw, but the ball's going to come out a little bit quicker than right here. All right, 3-by-1, 4th down. And the way the Cardinals take down Bryce Young is so embarrassing on this play. I think we have an end zone cam right here. We do. So the Cardinals, as much as they messed up with all the flags and everything, this is how they win the game right here. All right, let's flashlight mode right here. Take a look what happens. They try and run a stunt. They completely mess it up, and yet they still get to Bryce Young. I mean, literally, take a look right here. They try and run a stunt. They don't even know what they're doing. And then somehow he gets between Chandler and Taylor. But let's rewind this real quick, shall we? What I want to look at right here is Bryson. When I say this man can run routes, at first I just saw this play. I didn't realize the play we saw before. But watch what you see right here. So you're going to see Cardinals right here, cover 3, look. Now we're going to pause it right here. He's got the deep third, right? Take a look right here. Take a look right here. Safety's going to kind of play towards T-Mac. It's 4th and 15. That makes sense. Watch Bryson down here. Take a look right here. Now that being said, Bryce Young was on the ground. Okay, Bryce Young was getting pressured from that right side. That was never going to work, right? Bryson's still neck and neck with that DB. That was never going to work. I mean, look what's going on here. But a cover 3 look down here, and Bryson would have had. The team has potential. All right. In defense, we're going to look at in a second. There's one player. We won't say it. But the defense has potential. That'll be potentially Tuesday, Wednesday video. All right, stay tuned for that. Like I said, there'll be fun stuff coming this week. Stay tuned. Panthers advice is out. Have a good week, y'all. Peace.